Good afternoon. My name is Rita Bunton. I work in the financial accountability section. I actually do your first ratings and FASRG and other things, but that is what I do as I work for the TEA. This presentation is yours. You can use it at your leisure. If you want to put your school district's logo or an ESC logo on it, you have to remove the TEA logo. That's the only thing that TEA says. Okay, or if you're going to change some of the content and add other stuff, you just need to remove the TEA logo. It's not embedded. You just right click it and move it off. Fair? Notes on this presentation. PEMS is used throughout this presentation. It refers to TSDS PEMS and our legacy PEMS, which is PEMS Edit Plus. School district and district mean the same thing. They're just used interchangeably. The actual data that is used for your ratings that will be issued in 2021 comes from the applicable collection systems. And that data is used to produce your preliminary and your final rating. We're going to talk about first. We're going to talk about, why we have first. We're going to talk about the actual indicators. We're going to talk about ceiling indicators. Everyone familiar with the new ceiling indicators? Well, you will be after this. And I'm not going to go over the useful links, but they are in there and they are live. Our contact information for myself, my director and manager are at the end of this presentation, and you can click on the link if you need to contact either of us. We're going to talk about what is School First and its purpose, because it does have a purpose statutorily. We're going to talk about rules and statute and criteria for ratings. Why do we have School First? Let me just break this down real simple. Just so you know. Everyone knows what your accreditation status is? It's two pieces. It's the finance and it's the academic accountability. That's why you have School First. And in that, School First is supposed to determine your financial solvency, as it states in the Texas Education Code, and it's supposed to determine your management practices. What are you doing with the public funds that are entrusted with you? It's just supposed to show transparency. But what it does and what it has done successfully is show those school districts that are going towards or are already insolvent. It does a good job at that. I know people don't like it, but that's actually what it actually does. First is codified in the Texas Education Code under these actual chapters, 39.052. Also, academic accountability, if you just want to know something about it, I know y'all are finance, it's all under chapter 39. If you have a moment, just take a look at it. It's really short, but it tells the Commissioner of Education what he is supposed to do to implement the first system. If you can't get to TEC, the Texas Education Code, you must get to the TAC, because that contains the actual formulas and the actual indicators that are used for each applicable rating year. If for some reason you do not know how to access either the TEC or the TAC, give me a call, send me an email, or give my manager or my other colleague, Robin Aldrich, who does charter schools, let us know and we will guide you to get to the place where you need to be. You also need to know 19 TAC 97. That deals with your accreditation. How many times do you think you can fail first and still stay open? 3 times. And that's a combination with academics. So if your school district fails academically 2 times and you fail first 1 time, what happens? Board of managers. If we can't get it right during that time period, what happens? You get merged into another district. The last merger we had was last year when Winfield went into Mount Pleasant, and that was because of academics. It wasn't financial, but still it's a combination of both. For charter schools, if we have any charters in here, just because you want to listen, it's automatic revocation. You don't get a chance to be merged. You're just closed if you're a charter school. Okay, we have to release prelims by August the 8th. That is in the statute. That's not some made up date. That's what the legislature says. We have to assign you a financial accountability rating. If for some reason the commissioner says, well, we're not going to release a financial accountability rating this year, the rating that you had stays in place until a new rating is issued. It's very rare that the commissioner says there's no financial accountability rating, but there have been times where an academic accountability rating has not been issued. Every 3 years, the Commissioner of Education is required under the Texas Education Code to review the first indicators in their entirety. Now, we're constantly reviewing them and going out and making amendments, but in their entirety, he's required to every 3 years under the Texas Education Code. Okay, the data that is used. We use your data from PEEMS. We use your data from the data feed. We use your warrant holds. We use Foundation School Program data. We use Texas Workforce and any other applicable data. So if you submit the PDF of your AFR and you don't submit the data feed, what happens? You get an F equals substandard. We have to have the data feed and we have to have that PDF of your AFR. You have to have both of them. We get a report every month that comes to my desk with warrant holds from the comptroller's office. So I know who has a warrant hold. I know how long it takes you to clear it up. And you remember you have those 30 days to clear it. There's going to be a school district that is going to be very surprised because they took 31 days to clear their hold. That school district is going to get a preliminary score of F equals substandard when we release this year. And they probably just didn't pay attention to it, but they will receive an F equals substandard because they went 1 day over that required cure period. So if you have a hold, which a lot of school districts do, I see it every month, clear it up within that 30 days. These links are live. This will take you directly to the Texas Administrative Code for the indicators that are applicable now, which is 15 indicators, but we're talking about the indicators that will be applicable for your 2021 rating year. So that is that last link. And it's graphic E5. Make sure you can access that because that will give you the actual formulas and the indicators word for word, what they mean. So let's go on to what's new, your actual ratings. We're going to talk about ceiling indicators, which is totally new. And we're going to talk about the points that you can earn. The indicators for 2021 do not look like the indicators that are being used now. There's going to be 20. There's one, which is actually indicator number 20, that I did recommend to David that we no longer use because of HB3. We're going to go to current values. We'll talk about that later, but right now we have 20 indicators codified for the 2021 rating year. There's ceiling indicators. We're going to talk about those in depth so that you can understand what can happen if you don't meet the criteria of a ceiling indicator. Pay special attention to this light bulb. Right now, if you earn 0 to 59 points, you get an F. So you can make a 60 to 79 and still pass under the current indicators. But with the 2021 indicators, 0 to 69 is going to get you an F. So you don't have that long scale anymore. 90 to 100 points gets you an A. 80 to 89 is going to get you a B equals above standard. 70 to 79 will get you a C equals meet standard. Anything below that gets you an F. You will also receive an F, again, if the data is substandard or if there has been some type of investigation where the commissioner says you have to issue them an F. Okay, ceiling indicators. Why do we have ceiling indicators? We have ceiling indicators because we had a charter school who continued to pass indicator 5 based on an increase in membership. But everything else, they were so lagging behind, they were basically insolvent. So the commissioner said, what can we do? So that's why we have ceiling indicators. They just add extra criteria, and if you don't meet that criteria, then there's a maximum amount of points and a maximum rating that your district may receive. They are not point driven, but they will drive down your rating. For instance, if you had 100 points, but you failed ceiling indicator for number 6, you would go down to a B. And for some of you, that is like catastrophic because everybody wants an A. I know everyone wants an A. Katy ISD last year had a 98, and they just wanted their extra 2 points. And they wanted to appeal. So I know how important it is for you to get an A, which is fine. But if you don't pass those ceiling indicators, you could go from an A all the way down to a C. So let's just dive into this. Indicator 4, it's now going to become a ceiling indicator for the 2021 rating year. It has 2 parts. The first part is timely payments. Did your school district make timely payments? Well, if you didn't make timely payments, but you cured that warrant hold within 30 days, the maximum points you would receive is 95, and you would still get an A. But say, for instance, you owed money to a governmental entity and you never paid your payment or made your payment. What would you receive? F. You would fail because it's a critical and it's a ceiling indicator. Indicator number 5, it's 2 parts now. But what changes with indicator 5 is that second part, the membership. If your students in membership increases by 7% over a 5-year period, you can pass indicator 5 if your net position is below 0. So if we have to go to that second part on indicator 5, which we'll go over a little bit later, the maximum points that you can receive is a 79. Even if you had 100 points, we're going to go down to a 79. I just want y'all to know this. There is light at the end of the tunnel. You have the right to an appeal. Each and every one of you has the right to appeal your preliminary rating. Preliminary rating. So you have 30 days after we release the prelims to submit an appeal in writing. So you have the right to do that based on whatever adverse action. If you get a 99 and you think you should have 100, you can appeal. So just know that. Indicator number 6, it is new. We're going to talk about it a little bit more in depth, but if you don't pass either one of the parts for indicator number 6, the maximum points you will receive is an 89, and the rating is a B equals above standard. Indicator number 16 is PEIMS to AFR comparison. That indicator currently is a point driven. For the 2021 rating year, it will no longer be point driven. It is a ceiling indicator only. And if you don't pass it, what do you get? 89. Even if you had 100. Indicator number 17 is currently indicator 2B in our current system. So it's going to go down to a ceiling indicator. If you don't pass it, 79. It's material weakness in controls over financial reporting and compliance. That usually is passed by school districts. It's maybe 2 or 3 each year that don't pass that part. So it's not a huge worry, but it's something that you do need to know. That if you had 100 points and you had a material weakness in financial reporting over compliance, then you would go down to a C equals meet standard and 79 points. The last ceiling indicator is number 20. And this is the one that I proposed to David when I left Edinburgh on the May the 24th that we no longer have because we're going to go to current values. So there's not a lag anymore. So if we take it out, it's an adoption process to take it out. But we would not have to replace it with a new indicator because it's not point driven, it's only a ceiling. So you would end up with 19.
When do you anticipate that coming out? I mean, is that going to, do we still need to do that presentation this year? Even though
I would say do it because we haven't taken it out yet.
you just tell the board to ignore it, right?
I know, don't, I'm on camera. I can't say that. Yes. Because it takes us, it's going to take 120 days to get it out because we have to send it to the Texas Register. But I did propose it to him on May the 24th. But more than likely, I'm just being honest, it will probably come out, but it won't be replaced with anything. We'll just end up with 19. Yes. And so we have like 2 years to do it because we're still got to get your ratings this year and your ratings next year. Then we start the new ratings. Did you have a question?
Yes, and it's not really a big deal.
That's fine.
For those perfectionists in us, like Katie has, my understanding had been if you had a 98 or 99,
Yeah.
that you couldn't appeal to get 100 because it wouldn't change your rating. Has that changed?
That changed 3 years ago.
Okay.
We put it in the rule that you can appeal any adverse action. Yeah, we took it out. That's why I need y'all to read these rules. See, some of you probably could have been appealing.
I needed to appeal, but we got a 99 one year, and I was the same as Katie. I was like, no, that's not right.
No, it's in rule.
Appeal.
Yeah, we changed it for the 16-17 rating year. Yes, ma'am, you could appeal. So you can appeal anything. I had 52 appeals last year, and most of them had A's, but that's fine. Appeal if you like. Don't worry about it. It doesn't take me any extra to do it. Yes, sir. Okay. So let me see. These are examples. So indicator 4, let me just move over to this side. I'm sorry, cameraman. Indicator 16, your school district's PEIMS to AFR data comparison exceeds 3%. What happens? And you had 90 points. You're going down to 89 and you're going to get a B. Indicator 17, your school district fails ceiling indicator 17 and your total points before failing ceiling indicator 17 is 98. You're going to go down to 79 points and get a C equals meet standard. Indicator 20, you had 100 points. You go down to 89, but hopefully this is going away. More than likely, I'm being really honest. I'm always honest with you all. It's going to go away. It's a process to get it out of the rule. Indicators 4 and 16, your district fails critical indicator 4 and ceiling indicator 16, and your total points before failing indicator 4 and 16 is 67. You're going to get a 67. F equals substandard. You always get the lower of. So let's just look at this. This is just breaking it down into a nutshell. If your school district's overall points earned is less than the maximum points allowed by applicable ceiling indicator, you get the lesser of. An F equals substandard supersedes anything. You will receive that F equals substandard. This is just a table showing you the points that you can earn for each indicator, which indicator is a ceiling, and which indicators are critical and or ceiling. 1 through 3 are critical indicators. Indicator 4 is a ceiling and a critical. The critical comes first because that's the first test, then the ceiling. 5 is a critical and ceiling. 6 is a ceiling only, and remember, ceiling indicators do not have points associated with them. 7 through 15 are point driven. Again, 16 and 17 are ceiling. 18 and 19, they are point driven. So it's a total of 100 points. Let's look at your critical indicators. Indicator 1 did not change at all. It is still, we need your AFR and we need your data feed. You have 180 days, and the Texas Education Code really only allows you 150. We give you an extra 30 days. And still, there are some districts who cannot get both in on time. So just know you've even got that extra 30 days before you fail critical indicator 1. Indicator 2 has changed. And the 2B, because currently it's 2A and 2B that make up indicator 2, 2B is now going down to indicator 17 as a ceiling indicator. You have to have an unmodified opinion in your over all of your financial report for you to pass indicator 2. Can you have an unqualified? No. I know you think it means the same, and it used to, but is your auditor supposed to be using unqualified? I still get them in, and some auditors are using unqualified. If you see that, just kindly talk to your contracted auditor and let them know unqualified is not supposed to be used anymore per the AICPA. So it's just one part now. If you have an unmodified opinion, that is usually easy for a district to pass. It's rare that a district doesn't, but it does happen. Indicator 3 has not changed at all. It's still your debt payments. You have to make your debt payments. That's plain and simple. That's why it's a critical indicator. But nothing else has changed. Indicator 4, it has changed. It has this first part, did you make timely payments? If you say answer no, go down to the second part. Was it a warrant hold? If it was a warrant hold, even if it was cured within that 30-day period, you're going to lose 5 points, meaning that the maximum points that you can earn is 95. Say, for instance, you owed money to the IRS and you didn't make your payment. Y'all laugh, but there are districts who owe money to the IRS. They do not make those wage withholding payments on time. What happens with this indicator? You would fail. You would get an F. F equals substandard because you did not make timely payments. This second part is only if you had a warrant hold. So right now, as it's codified, you would fail, but you have the right to an appeal. Indicator 5, excuse me, y'all. It's written out the same. The only thing that changed is that second part is now a ceiling. So your net position balance is negative. Whether it be to OPEB or NPL, it's negative. If we have to go to the second part and you pass this indicator on the second part, the maximum points you can receive is a 79 and a C equals meet standard. Let me just stop right here. We are adding your OPEB back in. Everyone knows that, right? Along with your NPL and your accretion on your cabs. Everyone knows that? That's what we're doing. So we're doing that for your current preliminary that you're going to receive and forward. Your OPEB is added back in, and along with your NPL and if you have any accretion on your cabs. Any questions about indicator 5? It's very rare that school districts have, before OPEB, had a negative net position. Truly, it's very rare. It's those some of the fast growth would, and they would pass it on the second part. Solvency, you see this long list of solvency indicators? Well, that's because the Texas Education Code says that we have to be able to predict your solvency. And if you're heading towards insolvency. Indicator 6, it is new. And it is a ceiling indicator only. We're going to use your assigned and unassigned fund balances. And if you did not have more than a 25% decrease over 3 years, or you had more than 75 days of operational expenditures, your fund balance exceeds 75 days of operational expenditures, you pass. So no ceiling part is applied. The formula is on the next page. It's actually really simple. It just looks very long. It's only because we have to write out assigned and unassigned. But it's a very simple formula, and it's looking 3 years back. Say it again.
It's a look back from the 2021.
Yes, ma'am. So for yes, ma'am.
Right now is our first year.
So if we go over here, let me see. I guess I might have taken it out. But yes, I had a little slide in here, probably to save time. But yes, it's going to go back from your FY20 3 years. Yes. So it's just taking a look back to see if you had a 3-year change. And 3 years, that's what we came up with because so many things happen within a certain. If we just took 1 year, I mean, that really wouldn't be fair. Too many things can happen. You can have an industry leave your district. You could just be losing out, you know. Your collections could be bouncing up and down. So we took a 3-year look back.
Sewer line collapse underneath the building, things like that.
No, truly, yes, that's true. You might have someone who has been put in place who really doesn't know how to manage your books right. And that does happen also. So that's why we try to do 3 years on most indicators where we're trying to take a look back. Indicator 7 has not changed. It's your number of days of cash on hand. Currently, it's indicator 6. It just moved places. The scale did not change. The number of points that you could possibly earn has not changed. The formula did not change at all. So it has stayed the same. And no, we're not going to put your due from in there. I know people want us to put, you know, y'all still owe us money from the TEA. Why are you not counting that in our days cash on hand? That didn't make it in there. Sorry. Number 8, current assets to current liabilities. It has not changed at all. The scale, the formula, it just moved places. It's currently indicator number 7. It's just going to indicator number 8. But nothing about it has changed at all. Indicator 9 has not changed at all either. Basically, did your revenues exceed your expenditures? If not, did you at least have 60 days of cash on hand? So you have 2 chances to pass this indicator. Let me give you a little hint. If you don't pass indicator 6, isn't it more than likely that you won't pass indicator 9, your days cash on hand? So if you submit an appeal, wouldn't you submit an appeal for indicator 6 and 9? Keep that in mind. Because people always send me an appeal for indicator 6. I'm like, well, you didn't pass indicator 9. What do you want to do about that? So I have to make a call, which I shouldn't be making a call saying, hey, you need some other documentation. I need you to get it in here before this deadline ends if you want to also appeal indicator 9. Because I can't write it up for indicator 9 unless you tell me you also want to appeal indicator 9. Does that make sense? So more than likely, if you failed indicator 6, or you're trying to get points on indicator 6, look at indicator 9 also, because more than likely you didn't pass that one, or it's very close, okay? Indicator 10, it is new. It's your budgeted to actual revenues, looking at a 3-year time period back. It looks long, it's not. And if you go back to the 12-13 rating year, we had a formula in here that kind of looked like this. So it's really not new, it's just making its way back. So we're going to look at 3 years back, look at your budgeted versus your actual, plus or minus 10 points. So what does that mean? If you fail this indicator, can you appeal? Because anything can happen, right? This is just saying, hey, make sure your budgeted and your actual are kind of meeting. That's why it's plus or minus on the percent, 10%. So this is kind of a quick of how little diagram of what it'll look like. These are the actual funds we're taking it from, the actual budgeted. These numbers are actually from a school district, a very small school district, and it came out to 1%. So that's basically how you would look at it. 3 years back, from 20, fiscal year 20. Indicator 11, it is currently indicator 8. It has not changed. It's just long-term liabilities to assets. Nothing about it has changed. And no, we didn't make it a ceiling, even though if you pass it on the second part with your student and membership increasing by 7% or more. So you have 2 chances to pass it. But it's not a ceiling, and it's still the same formula as it is in the current rating system. Indicator 12 replaces your current indicator 10, your debt service coverage ratio. Apparently no one likes the current indicator. Well, this is what we have now because we have to look at your debt. Was the debt per 100 of assessed property value ratio sufficient to support future debt payments? That's basically what it is. It's 0 to 10 points on a sliding scale, and this is the actual formula. It's a very simple formula. We were going to put in EDA and IFA, but we took that out. So this is your new debt indicator. I know y'all don't like it, but we had to do something, and it's better than what we have. Indicator 13 is your administrative cost ratio. It has not changed, and it actually keeps the same place holder, so it's still indicator 13. Does everyone know how to access the administrative cost ratio worksheet in PEAMS? If you don't, give me a call or send me an email, because that actually calculates your administrative cost ratio. So once you enter your mid-year, PEAMS mid-year, once it's released to the public, you can print out your administrative cost ratio worksheet, and there you have it. You should already know what you've made on indicator 13. The scale has not changed, it's still the same. Indicator 14 is in the current system. It's indicator 12 now. It's just moving places to indicator 14. You still have 2 chances to pass it. We are making sure that you did not have a 15% decline in your student to staff ratio over 3 years. You can either pass it that way, or if your student to staff ratio in the current year under review, which will be FY20, compared to your student to staff ratio 3 years ago, it didn't decrease, you pass it. So you got 2 chances to pass it. But nothing about it has changed, not the formula, anything. It just moved places. These are your financial competency indicators. Let's get into indicator 15 because it is new. Was the school district's actual average daily attendance within the allotted range? Why do we have this? Because y'all wouldn't go in and certify your pupil projections or enter pupil projections. How many of you takes TEA's pupil projections and just says that is God's word? Okay, thank you. You need to go in and check us. Yes, sir.
Well, y'all done a good job.
Okay, if we've done a good job, did you go in and certify it? Well, that's the problem. People weren't certifying it, so they were thinking people weren't looking at it. So that's why y'all have this indicator. It's because of people not certifying their pupil projections biennially. So if you don't like what TEA has in there, you have the opportunity to change it. But please check it. We all make mistakes. We do. So check those pupil projections, certify them, look at your ADA range, and hey, if you were in that percentage, you pass it. It's 0 or 5 points. It's only worth 5 points. So if you don't pass this one, you can still get an A if everything else is aligned and is correct. 16 is your PEAMS to AFR comparison. This indicator, the thing that changed about it, it is no longer point driven. It is a ceiling indicator only. When we say PEAMS to AFR, we are comparing your PEAMS to your data feed. We're not comparing your PEAMS to that PDF. It's your PEAMS to the data feed that you submit. And I can tell you districts mess up on that data feed. Do not do that because that will cost you points. And the only thing I can change in School First is usually that L1. If I can find the correct data for your A1, your C2, C3, then I can put it into the School First application, but I can't go back and correct it in PEAMS or the data feed. I'm just corrected it in the School First application. Well, that's great because it's probably going to make sure you have the right points, but it's not great for legislators. It's not great for stakeholders because if the legislature takes information from PEAMS and the data feed, they don't take the information from the School First application. So great, you may pass, but when it comes to making decisions, they're not made on all of the accurate data. Does that make sense? So just try your best to have someone go in and check behind you or your PEAMS person when they're entering that information into PEAMS, and whomever is entering the information into data feed, do a check and balance. Indicator 17, it was indicator 2B. It's moving down. It is a ceiling. It's all based on what your external independent auditor states about your actual AFR being free of any material weakness and internal controls over financial reporting. Usually this is not a problem for districts. When it does become a problem, it's because that district is already in trouble. And I can honestly tell you that. Usually only 2 districts may fail this each rating year. But those districts are already in trouble. They're already going towards insolvency, or they have something else going on that is not in line with the statutes, laws, and regulations. But again, it's a ceiling, so just watch out for that. Indicator 18 is point driven. It is currently indicator 14. Nothing has changed about it. It's still the same indicator, it just moved places. And still the same number of points, either 0 or 10. We do have districts who don't pass this one for non-compliance. Maybe they didn't adhere to their child nutrition program, or they didn't adhere to some other type of grant. That's not uncommon. But you normally don't fail first for that. You just lose 10 points. Indicator 19 is new. It is, did the school district post the required financial information on either their website or the internet based on the statutes, laws, government code, local government code, and any rules? Y'all have a lot to do. Look at this next slide. This is only some of your required postings that you have to do either in the newspaper or on the internet. This is only a very small amount. Now, if you click on these, once you get access to the actual presentation, it's going to take you out to that statute, law, rule, or regulation. So this is only part of it. In the legislature, they just added some more stuff. I just didn't have time to put it in the presentation. But they just added 2 new requirements for posting. So y'all have a lot to do, but this is a self-certification on your L1. Did you or did you not do it? So that's what you're going to tell us. And we're going to go with that because I have my hands full already checking your material noncompliance and material weaknesses. So, and most of you do it. So it's not a huge concern, but someone at the agency wanted us to put it in there. So this is what me and my colleague came up with. But it is a self-certification. So just so you know, 0 or 5 points, all of you I know will pass. Just make sure you fill out the data feed. That's where we're taking it from. This is the indicator that more than likely it will go away because there's no lag anymore, right? We're just going to be using current values. If this goes away, we're not going to put an indicator more than likely in its place because it's not a point-driven indicator. It's just a ceiling indicator. But I'm just waiting on my director, David, to get back with me. You know, Leo's been busy, so he had to take it up the chain to Leo. So as soon as they get back with us, we'll go through the process, but we have to inform all districts that when we actually remove it from the indicators.
I think we should leave it in so that we tell our boards that we wish they would have looked at it.
Yeah. You know, I guess that's when you know it's a good bill. Some people like it, some people don't, you know. But yeah, we're going to go to current values. For some people, that's good. For some others, it's not. But that's what the legislature has imposed upon us. But more than likely, it's going to go away just because of the wording. It talks about the district's property values and the funding lag. Well, there's no lag anymore. If this wording wasn't here, the lag, then it probably would stay. But the wording doesn't match up to the actual statute. Okay, useful links. These are all live links. AFR submission, electronic submission, school first, the 19 tag 109, which you should all know. Please read it because that contains the graphic and the rules for first. FASRG, which is currently out there for adoption, and TEA correspondence. Is everyone in here signed up for the To the Administrator address letter? Please say you are. That's how we notify you about everything that's going on at TEA. That's how we tell you, hey, your preliminary first ratings have been released. Make sure you're signed up for it. If you don't know how, please just give me a call or send me an email and I'll help you out. This is my contact information. This is my colleague Robin. She does Charter First. This is our new employee. She actually does student attendance accounting. But you can contact any of us and we'll get you what you need. This is my manager Yolanda Walker, and David Marks is my director. But those are all live links. You need to contact us for anything. And most of you know I'm pretty good at getting back with you within 24 hours. Contact us. We're here to help you. We have a job to do, but we also want you to succeed. Because if you don't succeed, I feel like I failed those students. And I feel like we failed at TEA, and I don't want to fail. So yeah, just give us a call. Any questions? I know it was fast, but we only have 50 minutes. But this presentation is yours, and use it as you feel fit. And just let us know how we can help you. You're welcome.